Now that the holiday season is upon us, there's always an aroma that emanates from the kitchen. With that in mind, let's see what's up when Jack's cooking. Here's Jack DeCristofaro.
I'm your host, Jack DeCristofaro. Today I'd like to make for you one of the easiest cheesecake recipes I've ever come across. What we need here first is to preheat your oven to 325 degrees. And you start with a 9-inch springform pan, which you want to have well greased with some butter. Just roll it on in there and get your hands in nice and smooth. Make sure it's in all the edges. This will help the cake come out when you're finished. Never like a cake that sticks to the pan, because after all you want to keep it in your mouth. You don't want to keep it in the pan. Okay. All right, after we have that greased, you need to take a little bit of flour and just roll it around the inside until we coat all the edges. Okay, and we can put that off to the side for now. The ingredients for this cake are very simple. You need 2 pounds of ricotta cheese, 8 whole eggs, but you need them separated, the eggs yolks and the whites, 4 tablespoons of sugar, the zest of one orange, and about 4 tablespoons of semi-sweet chocolate chips. So, let's just get right into it then. And first thing we want to do is we want to stiffen the egg whites. Remember, when you separate your eggs, your whole yolks and your egg whites, you want to keep all of the yolk out of the white, otherwise they won't rise. And we start by whipping these up. You want to get nice peaks out of these. As they start to foam, take about half of the sugar and add that to them. Constantly looking for new recipes here on the show. If you have anything you'd like to share with us, please feel free to contact us at the Oaklander. Okay, these are starting to come up real nice. Okay, once these come up to a nice soft peak, they don't have to be completely stiff, but just a nice soft peak. Got a quick rinse and place these off to the side. Now we come to the egg yolks. Take your beater again and beat the egg yolks. When doing this, you can always go from the white to the yolk, but you can't go the other way back. Add the remainder of the sugar to the egg yolks. And continue to beat these until they're nice and smooth. Okay, that's about it for that. Put these off to the side. Now it really gets easy. Bring back the cheese, and at this point we can add our lemon zest our chocolate chips and start to make this a little smooth, get this well incorporated. It's important to always get your ingredients, let them sit in room temperature for a while. This way they're easy to work with. Now, as that is nice and smooth, we can just add the egg yolks. Take a spatula, get it all in there. And again, just nice and easy. Smooth this around. This has a great flavor, and it's a very unusual texture. Not like other cheesecakes that are firm and very dense. This is more light, like a souffle almost. And this will keep in your refrigerator for about 4 or 5 days. I know it doesn't stay in my refrigerator 4 or 5 days. Okay, once this gets all incorporated, then we come back to the egg whites. All right, now you want to incorporate the egg whites slowly. So you remove about 1/3 first. Okay, and then fold this gently into the mixture. And again, let me reiterate that this is a very simple recipe. It's quick. It's great for the holidays. And now, some more of the egg white. Continue to fold until the mixture is nice and smooth. Okay. Okay, at this point you want to be a little more careful with it. You want to make it completely incorporated, but you don't want to beat the daylights out of it. Otherwise, it won't rise. And that's about ready. Bring back the springform pan. Make sure it's completely secured. And pour it right on in. I love the chocolate chips in this cheesecake. It gives an incredible flavor and adds just enough sweetness to it. Okay. And that is about it. Tap it on the table, make sure it's all even. And this pops into a preheated 325-degree oven for approximately an hour and 15 minutes, or till it is done with a toothpick by sticking it into the center and it comes out dry. And that's about it. Give it a try. Okay, so let's go take a look and see what we have. This is the finished product. We will try to get it out of the pan in one shot here. Take a knife and run it along the edge of your springform pan. Okay. Then just release and give it a little bit of a wiggle. And there you have it. And this came out exceptionally well. Move this to a nicer plate. Like so. You can see how the chocolate chips have suspended themselves within the cake. I really hope you try this. Let's see if we can get a slice out of this. It is so light. It's more like a souffle. They should really call this a souffle as opposed to a cake. And like I said earlier, you can keep this in the refrigerator and serve it cold, but if you really want to try something different, and I know this is an acquired taste, try serving this warm. You'll be pleasantly surprised with the flavor. You should really let it cool a little longer. Okay. Let's just have a taste. That's fantastic. Let's just review the ingredients again. You'll need 2 pounds of ricotta cheese, 8 eggs separated, 4 tablespoons of sugar, the zest of one orange, and 4 tablespoons of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Bake in a 325-degree oven for an hour and 15 minutes or until dry with a toothpick into the center. Well, that's it. We'll see you again when Jack's cooking. Hi, and welcome to Jack's Cooking. I'm your host, Jack DeCristofaro, and today we have a letter from a Mrs. Annette Manganaro. She writes, "Dear Jack, one of the first things my husband did after purchasing our home was to put in a vegetable garden in our backyard. Now that, let me just say, that is the greatest thing in the world because fresh vegetables are the best. Last year, it seemed as though we had a ton of zucchini, and I must have served it 100 different ways. I have a wonderful zucchini bread recipe, which everyone, myself included, loves, and only drawback is it's very high in calorie content." Yeah, that does happen. "I was wondering, do you know of a low-calorie recipe that my family and my waistline can live with? Sincerely, Annette Manganaro. P.S. We tried your grilled marinated zucchini and eggplant. Very good. Keep on cooking, Jack." Sure, Annette, I think we can get something. We're looking through my books this week, and I found a zucchini bread recipe that has only about 173 calories per slice, 176 calories per slice, and only 7 grams of fat. And if you stay with us, we'll show you how it's done. Stay with us. Okay, welcome back to Jack's Cooking. And as you can see, we've set up the kitchen to do a little baking, and we're going to do this zucchini bread recipe. Now, the trouble with zucchini bread is it can be very high in calories due to the fat content. I have a zucchini bread recipe here, which I've already tried. I do like this one, but it calls for 1 cup of oil, and it only renders 1 loaf, so that could be pretty high in calories. So we went searching, and we found another zucchini bread recipe that only calls for a half a cup of oil, and yet it still renders 2 loaves, cutting the calorie content down per serving to about 176 calories a serving, which isn't bad. So to start off, we're going to try to beat together 3 eggs. We put our little shield on here, little gadget. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, don't be concerned if you don't get all the ingredients, because there are a lot of ingredients in this recipe. We will have the full recipe on the screen at the end of the show. So let's get this going. We want to make this a nice frothy mixture. Okay. To that, once they start to come together, we're going to add the sugar. And we have, what I have here is half a cup of white granulated sugar and 1 cup of packed light brown sugar. And we'll just add that to the mix like so. Get all of that in. Okay. We want this to come up to a nice frothy consistency. And to that, we're also going to be adding a half a cup of vegetable oil. This is where we get most of the calories from. Okay. Very good. Now, I don't know if you can get a look at this, but if you can see, you just want to see the consistency of this. It's just starting to get a little bit of a ribbon. Okay, and that's what we're looking for. Okay. While that's mixing up, we can add some vanilla extract. And that'll be a half a teaspoon, or 1 teaspoon rather, of vanilla extract. At this point, we want to stop the mixer, and our shield, for now, we'll take that off. We will remove our whisk attachment. Place this over to the side, and we will put in our mixing attachment now. Okay. All right, we can start this back up. Sure, that's in the lock. What I've done, these are some new zucchini that I've peeled, and I've already taken the liberty of shredding some of the zucchini. Now you have about 2 cups of zucchini, but this can vary whatever you have. And we're going to place this into our mixer. Okay. All right, that's coming along just nice. Oh! And let's see. At this point, we can add our baking soda, 2 teaspoons. Oh, this is baking powder. Baking powder, we'll be adding half a teaspoon. Okay, and the baking soda, 2 teaspoons. One, too. All right, we're also going to need some salt, 1 teaspoonful of salt. And to this, which is going to give it a nice crunchy, nutty kind of flavor, we're going to add something a little different. This is wheat germ, okay? And wheat germ we're going to be adding is half a cup of wheat germ. That is going to give a nice crunchy flavor to it. It's also very good for you. Okay. Now I've got some flour here, regular white flour, and that's 2½ cups, which we're going to sift. Now, sifting flour breaks down the particles and makes a nice lightness to whatever you're baking. So we're just going to sift this down. And add the 2½ cups of flour. This zucchini bread is very good with coffee, or even in the morning as a breakfast. These loaves will keep in the refrigerator for quite some time, and you can also make some extra, put it in the freezer for when friends drop by unexpectedly, and just pop it in the oven, warm it back up, and I'll tell you, it's great. Okay, now that the flour is in, we can make sure this is all incorporated. We'll need a spatula. Let's see. Okay. We can turn this off a minute. Take the shield off. Let's get a little more flour in there. Let's just take a look. Scrape this all off the mixer. It looks a little gross, but tastes great. Okay, scrape our bowl, get all our flour incorporated. And we'll give it one final mix. Okay. Take off our blade. We want to get all of this off. All right. At this point, I have some chopped walnuts, about 1/3 cup. We can add those to the mixture. And this is my own preference. I like raisins. I don't know if everybody else likes raisins. But if you do like raisins, this is the time you can add them in. These give a real chewiness to the loaves, and I kind of like them, so that's why I'm putting them in. And these can just be folded in. Let's take this off. And we can just fold this right into the mix. We've already preheated our oven to 350 degrees, and we're going to be making 2 loaves. So what I have here is 2 9-inch loaf pans. These happen to be non-stick loaf pans, so you don't need to butter them or flour them. And I've used these before, and everything just seems to pop right out of them when they're done. Okay. So you try to get this as even as possible. We pour half into one and half into the other. We try to make them even. A little bit more on this one. And get everything off the side of the bowls. Okay. And that's about it. So we're going to take these to the oven. Tap them against the table, make sure they're nice and even. We can just get rid of this, we don't need that anymore. And we'll be popping these into a 350-degree oven for about 45 minutes, or until you stick a toothpick into the loaf and comes out dry. All right, so when we come back, we'll be serving this up and we'll see how it tastes. Stay with us, will you? Okay, we're back. And these have been baking now for about 45 minutes. So let's take a look and check them out. Okay. Now, these nonstick baking pans are really, really good. You just want to loosen up the edges. For anyone who doesn't have a nonstick baking pan, what you do is you just use a little butter, a little flour on the inside of the pan, and it should come right out. If they do tend to stick, you can always run a knife along the edge. But these really work very good. These are quite hot, so be careful. You want to let these cool for, 10, 15 minutes before you slice them. And I'm just going to put this one on here on the table. This other one I already have here has been cooling now for a few minutes. So let's just take a look at what we have. You can serve this warm from the oven or cold right out of the refrigerator. Let's take a look at the inside. We'll get a nice slice. Oh yeah, this is very good. You can see how the walnuts and the raisins are just suspended inside there. This is very, very, very good. Well, that's it for today. This is our zucchini bread recipe. If you would like a copy of this recipe, please just call us or write us at The Oaklander, care of Jack's Cooking, P.O. Box 312, Oakland, New Jersey, 07436, or give us a call at 405-1084. Until next time, this is Jack DeCristofaro saying, happy cooking.